Someone meets with him all the time. House Speaker Mike Johnson is going to join us right now. Mr. Speaker, I mean, you saw what we saw. The whole country saw last night, which was a mess. It was quite sad that we have our commander-in-chief doing that. But you've been meeting with him behind closed doors before we got to see that publicly. I know some of the Republicans are asking for the tapes of what the special counsel says was a well-intending elderly man, but could not stand trial. So what's been going on with the president behind closed doors all these months that you've been speaker?
Listen, what you're hearing this morning, this chorus of voices is now they're being forced to acknowledge the objective truth. There was only one man on that stage last night that is qualified and capable of being president in the next term, and that's Donald J. Trump. We've been saying this for a long time. As you know, I've spent a lot of time with Donald Trump. I mean, even as recently as last week. We're together all the time, talk all the time. And I've spent time with President Biden as well. It's not even close. You saw the greatest mismatch of a debate in the history of presidential debates. And that's what we see here on Capitol Hill every single day. So now the Democrats are being forced to say openly what they have known for quite some time. Joe Biden cannot be the president in the next term, and they're in panic for very good reason.
Dave? Well, you know, and how many people were watching at home and got the headline that Joe Biden has defeated Medicare, which is such great news. I mean, that came out of nowhere. And Mr. Speaker, it's just a matter of time till the people at the White House start saying, you know, that Joe Biden you saw last night, that was artificially intelligence and, you know, a deep fake thing. That wasn't really him, because behind the scenes, as you know, he's just been a tiger. But don't you are you hearing from any of your colleagues on the Democrat side of the aisle? You know what? We can't say this in public, but he's got to go, because to keep him in it would be political malpractice.
Well, a lot of them are saying it to the media this morning. I mean, they have to acknowledge this because their constituents are saying these things to them. They can't hide this truth anymore. On every metric of performance last night, Donald Trump won clearly on the issues, on his temperament, on his stamina, the mental acuity. Listen, we live in very dangerous times. The American people are in panic mode about their own lives. They can't afford to put groceries on the table consistently. They're worried about the rising crime rates and the open border and the weakness that we're projecting on the world stage. All these things because we have a weak commander-in-chief. This is not a game. This is the most important election of our lifetimes. That is not an overstatement. It's not hyperbole. Everybody knows it. Donald Trump showed last night that he can address these challenges and he can bring America back. And I'm telling you, it doesn't matter what party you're in. If you watch that debate, you're nodding your head in agreement saying, I want that.
Hey, you know what? I'm wondering, Mr. Speaker, what it does for your chances of holding the House and Senate if he stays in. I mean, does this make your job easier? Have you seen any uptick in donations? Does it change your strategy going forward?
Well, Brian, as you know, I've been traveling the country nonstop. When we're not in session in Congress, I'm on the road, and we've been in over 130, almost 135 cities now, I think, in 30 states over the last 6 months. Everywhere we are, everywhere around the country, people have had enough. They're fed up with the Biden policies, and they want to change. Now, we don't take anything for granted. We are going to run like we're 10 points behind. But I'm feeling very bullish about November. I believe Donald Trump, obviously, I think he's going to win the White House again. I believe we're going to flip the Senate back to Republican hands, and I think we're going to grow the House majority.
Do you worry about being swapped out? Do you worry about him being swapped out with a stronger candidate?
Well, I have the same questions that you all have this morning that everyone has. How could that work? How could they leapfrog Kamala Harris? They can't run Kamala Harris for president. They're in a real bind. It's the same bind they've been in the entire time. And I don't see any magic fix for it. I don't think there's any superhero that can parachute into that convention and save them from what is coming. And that's why I believe they're all in panic mode this morning. They don't have any answers. And of course, that's good, I think, for the country. It's good for our party. It's good for us being able to fix all these great challenges that face us, and we're ready to do it.
Yeah, Mr. Speaker, we weren't sure what to expect on the stage last night because Joe Biden has been practicing for the last, 10 days at Camp David. So he walks out very slowly. His voice instantly was raspy, and he started to mumble, and he lost his train of thought several times. At one point, he said he was asked about corporate tax, and his answer was COVID, dealing with all we have to deal with, the COVID. Look, we finally beat Medicare. Then when he was asked about immigration, Donald Trump had to respond to what he said, and Donald Trump said, I don't even know what he said. at the end of that sentence. I don't think he knows either. What were your thoughts when you were watching it? What stood out to you last night?
To be honest, it was sad. It was sad to watch. This is dangerous to put this on display for the country. Look, we're all concerned about this because our adversaries see this as well. We're in a dangerous moment. We've got China, Russia, Iran, North Korea forming a new axis of evil, making threats to us and our allies. We can't afford to have this on the world stage. The only solace we have is that help is on the way. November can't get here soon enough. We can't, January
Speaker,
can't get here soon enough.
Should we be talking about I know it's our instincts to follow the election, but based on the performance last night, shouldn't we be talking about the 25th Amendment? Like, have you heard from cabinet members? Are y'all hauling them down there? Because you got a president that was unfit last night. And I know people have been saying it for a while, but we all saw it. Have you heard from the cabinet members?
Listen, I'm sure there's a lot of talk about that. They're trying to keep all this quiet. But I can tell you on Capitol Hill, the Democrats, they're in full five-alarm fire here. I mean, they are deeply concerned. They're saying the quiet parts out loud now because as they mentioned, all the candidates down ballot are now concerned about their own futures, because this will have a big effect in the election. It's going to affect turnout for the Democrats, and it's going to affect this new demographic shift that we're seeing into the Republican camp. We have record numbers of Hispanic voters coming into the Republican Party, and black voters, African-American voters. The Jewish community is more animated for our side than we've ever seen because they feel like Joe Biden's abandoned Israel and their community. Yeah, all those things are true. So I think we're headed for an historic election in November, and we're in very good shape. And if we can survive between now and then.
Should Republicans be concerned that the Democrats might put someone else in?
We're not concerned. We're running on the issues. We're running on our answers to all these great challenges, and we have an extraordinary candidate in Donald Trump. He's going to have big coattail effects. I don't know what they're going to do on their side. I'm just really glad we're in the position that we're in because this is what's right for the American people. This transcends politics. We've got to fix this country. Donald Trump can make America great again. We have an agenda to do it. We're going to have a very aggressive first 100 days agenda of that new Congress. We are going to be prepared to lead on day one because we owe that to the American people.
Mr. Speaker, thank you so much for joining the program this morning.
Thank you.